He was an exemplary business leader, as we've heard, but he was also a public servant for the people of Tanzania and the people of Africa more generally, and that legacy will continue. We saw that for ourselves back home when he was co-chair of a British parliamentary committee on how we could improve the impact of UK aid to support free trade in Africa. And I know his insights, his wisdom and his guidance to that parliamentary committee were hugely valuable, and that legacy will continue through the work of the British Parliament. So he was a wonderful man. He was a wonderful friend to me as well. I remember many conversations. He used to come to my house and talk to me, give me very strong guidance and advice as to my role here in Tanzania. And he was not afraid to challenge as well, which is what I loved about him. We had robust conversations, and I really appreciated and valued his wonderful expertise and guidance. And just a few months ago, he honoured me by accepting my invitation to meet the British Prime Minister's trade envoy to Tanzania. And we had a wonderful conversation about how to strengthen trade between our two countries and how to really bring the benefits to the people and the businesses in Tanzania. So as I said, as well as being an exemplary business leader, he was a public servant, and we will always remember that in him. And we very much mourn his passing, both here in Tanzania and I know his friends back in the United Kingdom. And may his soul rest in peace.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Sarah Cook, British High Commissioner to Tanzania. Your Excellency, Benjamin William Mkapa, the family of the late Ali MUFURUKI, ministers present, the retired Prime Minister, Honorable Joseph Sindwarioba, retired Party Secretary General, Honorable Kinana, Excellencies, owners, ladies and gentlemen, we have just received a guest, Mr. Mars Mueller, who went to school together with the late Ali from 1981 to 1985. He has flown in and joined us here a few minutes ago. Our colleague John Langa has taken effort to convince Mr. Mueller, who is accompanied by his son, Fabian Mueller, to at least deliver a message of condolence, because Mr. Mueller is kind of totally devastated. But gladly he has accepted to deliver a condolence message. Mr. Mueller, together with Fabian, please come to the stage.
Dear big German African family, there are no words to express our feelings. It is just to say thank you, Ali, for nearly 40 years true friendship. May this friendship last for the next generation, with my son, your sons and children, and with our grandchildren. Thank you, Ali. You have been my very best friend. Bye.
I now call upon Madam Caroline Musei, the General Manager for Woolworths East Africa, to give a condolence message. Caroline.
Your Excellencies, Honorable Government Ministers and Officials, CEOs, leaders, SADA, and family, all protocols observed. As Woolworths and as a brand, and staff members of Woolworths who are here, if you'll allow me, if I can ask them to just stand up, led by Mr. Bushiri Mgimba, the General Manager, Samson Katemi, the Finance Manager, and the management of the business here in Tanzania. Thank you very much. As a brand and staff members of Woolworths Tanzania, we would like to give tribute to our founder, the first franchise owner, CEO, and at this time of his passing, non-executive director of Woolworths South Africa. We are saddened by this sudden demise of a man who was unstoppable, determined, forward-looking, a visionary. Ali gave us hope. Ali saw opportunities. Ali pushed us to be better. Ali was a true leader. Long before formal retailing and departmental stores became a reality in East Africa, Ali Mufuruki had foreseen the possibility of these markets embracing these kinds of businesses. He approached Woolworths South Africa in the mid-90s, and eventually he was given the franchise rights for Uganda and Tanzania. He opened his first store at PPF Towers, which continues to be a very important branch to the business, in 1999. And in the year 2000, opened another branch in Uganda. It took him 5 years before embarking on an expansion plan. And in those years, he endeavored to learn the art and science of fashion retailing, which is both an art and a science. Retail is not for the faint-hearted. One has to be hawk-eyed about the intricacies of the detail in the product, from the smallest size to the big items. Yet Ali, though an engineer in training, came out as an expert of retail. After 5 years, he opened his second store at Shoppers Plaza and expanded to Arusha and opened more stores in Kampala. At the time of his death, Woolworths in Tanzania has 5 stores and 3 stores in Uganda, and employs over 100 employees and supports over 20 third-party suppliers. Ali has made a difference in our lives. He has made a difference in the retail industry in East Africa. He is definitely a visionary leader, a risk taker, a man who never gave up. He created employment for us, for the people who are currently working in Woolworths, for the people who left, retired, or left to look for greener pastures, and will definitely continue to create employment for many other people because we are under an expansion plan. Woolworths is currently a joint venture organization, and Ali, in his time of death, was a director. On behalf of the Woolworths directors in South Africa, Mr. Justin Crowhurst, Mr. Berger van der Mauer, my executive director, Yobe Mvula, and the CEO herself, Zaida Rylands, I say to you, Ali, asante sana. Fare thee well, mkurugenzi wetu. Thank you.
Asante, Laila. Nirudie tena, baada ya ratiba ya hapa, mwili utapelekwa kuswaliwa msikiti wa Maimunu, na baada ya hapo maziko yatafanyika kwenye makaburi ya Kisutu. Sasa nimkaribishe Dr. Laila Macharia, the chairperson of African Leadership Initiative East Africa. Karibu kwa salamu za rambirambi.
Sada, Laila, Zara, Sophia, and Tekenye, former President Mkapa, distinguished representatives from the government, the business community, the clergy, and all family and friends. We bring you greetings from the Africa Leadership Initiative, grateful to have an opportunity to celebrate the life and the legacy of our role model, our mentor, our champion, and our encourager, Ali Mufuruki. Alongside others, Ali formed the Africa Leadership Initiative in 2002, and now we are over 500 fellows across the continent, about 70 of them from East Africa, and I will ask them soon to come up and greet you. Our initiative, designed and envisioned by Ali, was to challenge leaders who had already had some success in education, in the public sector, in the private sector, to think about their lives and move up into a level where they moved from success to significance. He saw in us a group of African leaders grounded in conscience, in courage, and in commitment. He was vulnerable with us about his struggles as a leader, and open even when he started having health challenges. He always picked up the phone when we called. About 2 years ago, he started urging us to put in place structures and strategies to carry on this work without him. And some of you will remember the ambush when he made the new group of directors. A year ago, we also gathered together in November to celebrate as an initiative in Zanzibar. And by coincidence, it was his 60th birthday, and we had a wonderful time as we celebrated him. I would like to ask the fellows to please come and stand with me. Come. So you can see Ali's work wherever you are. We have traveled this morning from Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania. And in front of you, you'll see many leaders from the region, leading the top companies, standing up in government, and also in the non-profit sector. He loved each one of us personally, and he challenged us forcefully. We are honored that he left us such a firm foundation and such an ambitious vision, and we look forward to making him proud. Thank you, and our condolences. Thank you, Ali. We miss you.
Thank you, Dr. Laila, for actually revealing to us that some of these good brains that we see around with us, the late Ali has got his hand of shaping them. Thank you, Ali. Now, it's time to invite Mr. Patrick Obath, Vice Chairman of the Board, Trademark East Africa.
Thank you very much. Sada and family, and all other protocols having been observed, I stand here on behalf of Trademark East Africa to celebrate the life of Ali. And in a way, his being the chairman of Trademark East Africa embodied some of his beliefs about this continent. He came into the board and reshaped Trademark East Africa completely in terms of setting up a governance to deliver on a promise that is an East African community. And Ali, as an individual, had a lot of things to do with industrialization, technology, research, and innovation in everything that he did. And in Trademark East Africa, the way he shaped it and brought it up, it became the opportunity to deliver and try and make what he believed Africa could be. In terms of improving trade corridors, in terms of improving governance systems within the 5 East African countries, and a lot of the effort that has gone into enabling the East African countries to work together. That was Ali. His vision was a vision of one Africa, and he was infectious about how he talked about Africa, not just East Africa but the whole continent. And within that context, one of the biggest things he talked about was the value of leadership. And that's what you've seen with all of us who are from the Africa Leadership Initiative, where all of us have been through. And he also sought to change and influence leadership in East Africa to try and truly create what we all yearn for, which is the East African community. And he chose to do it not by being political, but by being somebody who would make change through people. And also make change through the organizations that he actually involved himself in. And if you read through the list, most of those organizations were organizations that were there to try and break down barriers and bring Africa together. Starting with the organizations that were within Tanzania, the ones that he was sitting on boards within East Africa, and also his involvement in various organizations at the African level, at the AU. He left our board at Trademark East Africa in 2018, having served for 3 years, and we hoped he would continue for another 3 years, but he said, no, I've finished my job here, let me go and do something different. And he went on to basically take on a bigger role with the Afri-Champions and working with the African Union to try and forge together a much bigger cooperation from what he had actually been able to prepare within Trademark East Africa. So all present, ladies and gentlemen, from Trademark East Africa, we join you, Sada, and your children in celebrating the life of a truly great Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abath. I now call upon Mr. Godfrey Simbe from Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, then to say the representative of the President should get ready.
Mama Sara Mufuruki na watoto wako na familia yako yote, naomba kukwambia kwamba sekta binafsi yote ya Tanzania kupitia taasisi mwanguli ya sekta binafsi Tanzania, yani taasisi ya sekta binafsi Tanzania, tunakupa pole sana. Wewe umepoteza mumeo, watoto wako wamepoteza baba, sisi pia tumepoteza kiongozi ndani ya sekta binafsi. Mimi naomba niseme kitu kimoja. Yamesema mengi mazuri na naomba mimi siongee. Ali hajamaliza kitu ambacho alitaka kufanya kuhusu sekta binafsi hapa Tanzania. Naomba nikueleze kwamba Sara kwamba tulikuwa tunaongea mengi na alidhani kwamba kazi ya kuendeleza sekta binafsi Tanzania ilikuwa bado haijakamilika. Na hata alipoandika kitabu chake cha safari ya uwekezaji kwenye viwanda, alikuwa nadhani bado alikuwa na mchango mwingine wa kufanya. Amefanya mengi kama watu waliosema hapa leo, na mimi nisingependa kuambia, lakini kuna moja ambalo naomba tu niliseme, ambalo pengine haliwezi kusemwa na mtu mwingine yoyote. Ali kitu kimoja, amekuwa kwenye bodi nyingi sana kama ulivyoona kwenye kitabu kile, lakini Ali kuna kitu kimoja alikuwa hajafanya na tulikuwa tunategemea labda kingeweza kutokea. Alikuwa hajawahi kuwa mwenyekiti wa taasisi ya sekta binafsi Tanzania. Nasema hivyo kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu mwaka 2013 baada ya yeye kuwa kwenye kamati iliyoundwa na serikali ya kuhakikisha kwamba TPSF inakuwa ni taasisi ambayo inaleta sauti moja, sauti yenye nguvu ya sekta binafsi Tanzania, yeye alisema kwamba tunahitaji TPSF iwe na uongozi bora na uongozi ambao unaweza ukatoa mchango mkubwa. Kwa hiyo mimi nikamuuliza wewe kama kweli hivyo Ali, je, unategemea kuwa kiongozi wa sekta binafsi moja? Akaniambia ndio, siku moja nitakuwa kiongozi, lakini sasa hivi moja tupishe Mzee Mengi awe kiongozi wetu. Mwaka 2018 ilipotokea nafasi ya kuwa pia tunatafuta viongozi wa TPSF, tulimwendea tukamwambia tunaomba sasa ufikirie zile za uwezo wako la kuwa kiongozi ndani ya sekta binafsi ili sitaliwe kweli. Kwa masikitiko makubwa sana, naomba tuliwaambie wana sekta binafsi wenzangu, alisema sasa hivi sio wakati. Ilikuwa nisikiyo akarabia kwamba no space, sasa hivi no, sitachukua nafasi tena ya kuwa mwenyekiti wa TPSF kwa sababu hata siona mtu ninaondoka kwa sababu nataka kufanya mambo mengine. Nikamwambia lakini uliniahidi kwamba swala la kuendeleza sekta binafsi bado wewe liko kwenye damu yako, na mimi nasema nafasi ukiwa mwenyekiti wa TPSF unaweza ukalifanya vizuri zaidi. Akasema sibaya, hapana, sitakudanganya, na for this time. Naomba unisamehe sana, endelea tu na mambo mengine. Mimi nitakupa ushirikiano wako wote siku zote. Mimi naomba niseme sana na pia mmewa hajamaliza kazi ya kuendeleza sekta binafsi. Bado hata viongozi wote walioko mndani. Na mimi nashukuru sana Mheshimiwa Benjamin Mkapa, rais wetu mstaafu. Kitabu maneno uliyomwambia Ali kwenye kitabu chako kwa kweli alitugusa sisi wengi sana, lakini mimi naomba niseme tuna safari ndefu ya kuendeleza sekta binafsi hapa Tanzania. Na mimi nadhani kwamba kitu ambacho tunaweza tukafanya ni kuendeleza yale aliyoanza Ali aliamini sana katika utawala bora, aliamini sana katika utawala wa uadilifu, na ndio maana mimi niseme tu kwamba sasa hivi ukianzisha kampuni yote hapa Tanzania lazima usaini kiapo cha uadilifu. Kinaitwa kwa Kiingereza integrity pledge. Hiyo ililetwa na Ali Mufuruki. Kazi yake hiyo aliletwa kabisa. Alikuwa na mimi. Niseme tuko sina mengi ya kuongea. Mungu amlaze mahali pema peponi. Tutaendelea kumkumbuka, alikuwa kiongozi wetu, tutamiss kwa muda mrefu, lakini tusirudi nyuma, tuendelee kuendeleza yale aliyotaka kuyafanya. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Mr. Sinde, for the message delivered emotionally. A little bit of change. I'd earlier skipped TNBC and lined up TCIA. Before I called TNBC, because by order it would have been TNBC TPSF. My apologies. We've received a note that there is a message from the government of Rwanda that will be delivered by Rosette Rugamba. Please, Rosette, come to the podium.
Good afternoon. I had no intention of speaking. All protocol observed. Dear Father and family, I stand here as an early fellow Rwanda who had the privilege and generosity to be chosen by Ali, who built our careers but still had the humility to let us shine with no claim. But I stand here because as I sent a message that we were here to pay our last respect to a good friend of Rwanda, I got a message from His Excellency to pass on the following message. To the family of late Ali Mufuruki, his widow and children Laila, Zara, Sophia, and Abdul Razak, and the government of the United Republic of Tanzania. On behalf of the people and government of the Republic of Rwanda, I wish to express our condolences. In His Excellency's words, Paul Kagame, we have lost a great leader and a great son of Africa. He was a visionary who still had much to offer to the world. As a member of the Afro Champions, he has been a strong advocate of the Africa Continent Free Trade Area. We can only honor Ali, but what he stood for, Ali, may your soul rest in peace.
Thank you, Madam Rosette Rugamba, for the message from the government of Rwanda. Now, I just want to invite Madam Oliva Pegula from TNBC to deliver the condolence message. Then a representative from Msing, East Africa, should get ready.
Na msaada watoto, Mheshimiwa Rais Mstaafu Benjamin Mkapa, viongozi wote mlioko hapa, habari za mchana. Kwa niaba ya kamati tendaji ya Baraza la Taifa la Biashara na kwa niaba ya mwenyekiti wa kamati tendaji hiyo ambayo ni Balozi Mhandisi John Kijazi, wajumbe wa baraza pamoja na watumishi wote wa Baraza la Taifa la Biashara, tunatoa pole sana kwa familia ya marehemu, ndugu, jamaa, marafiki, CEO na Mtuteko kwa kuondokewa na mpendwa wetu Bwana Ali Mufuruki. TNBC kama wengine waliotangulia kusema, tutamkumbuka sana Bwana Ali Mufuruki kwa mchango wake mkubwa aliotoa kwa ajili ya maendeleo ya taifa hili kwa kuhamasisha ukuaji wa uchumi na kuleta maendeleo ya sekta binafsi. Mpaka umauti unapomkuta Bwana Ali Mufuruki alikuwa ni mwenyekiti mwenza wa kikundi kazi cha viwanda cha Baraza la Taifa la Biashara, na alikuwa chachu kubwa sana katika kusukuma maendeleo ya viwanda kupitia kikundi kazi hicho. Wajumbe wa kikundi kazi hicho wengi hawakuweza kufika, lakini wameniomba nikuletee salamu za rambirambi Mama Sada pamoja na watoto na wote mliofika na msiba huu. Sisi kama binadamu hatuna tunachoweza kusema zaidi ya kusema kwamba kazi ya Mungu haina makosa, na tunaombea familia na wote walioguswa na msiba huu, Mwenyezi Mungu awape faraja ya kuweza kupita kwenye kipindi hiki kigumu cha maombolezi. Bwana alitoa na Bwana ametoa, jina la Bwana lihimidiwe. Kwa amani. Amen.
Asante Madam Oliva. Sasa nishamuomba mwakilishi wa Msing East Africa Madam Loma Cheche. Bwana Leonard Msusa, wakati huo uendelee kujiandaa kama mwakilishi, kama mwenyekiti wa board ya Mwananchi Communications.
Good evening. To his family, Mama Sada, and to his children, Laila, Zara, Sophia, and Tagenya. His Excellency, former President